Hello, my name is Patrick Jackson. I'm going to discuss to you today the internal and external communication within Wichita Public Schools, USD 259. Internal and external communication is a dynamic highlighted by the different groups within an organization as well as outside an organization that directly or indirectly affect each other, hopefully for the benefit of growth on all sides. As we look at internal and external communication and the effects it has on a community and a school district. It's a very large span of different forms of communication, as well as a very large array of effects that it can have, not only on the district itself through the building of partnerships, but also the effect it has on the community as the community views the district and its effectiveness. It's really important to not only look at your internal publics, but also understanding the wide variety of external publics that can affect the outcomes when you're trying to build a strong structure for student success, and understanding all the different external publics that are affected or that can affect your growth. I chose to use MindMeister to develop this chart and presentation, and in doing so, I liked the way it flowed and how it turned out, but found that in developing my chart and my presentation, the software was difficult to edit. That may just be my own technological as I work through it, I try to find different ways to incorporate my information, but the mapping itself I thought turned out really well, and I like the movement visually as it moves from one topic to another. In building this presentation during this assignment, I took a look at internal and external groups and publics, where I define groups as groups that work within an organization and communicate to support one another. And external groups are the groups outside of that organization that may have a direct effect on the organization or an indirect effect, but are still relevant to the process and have to be taken into account. Getting started, the first group that I looked at was my internal groups. And as I have identified those groups, it is a top-down system where we see information being broadcasted from every group outwardly to internal publics as well as external publics. But information does flow from the top to the bottom in most cases, depending on its relevance. Starting with our Board of Education, this is a group of elected officials that are key in decision-making for policies of the district, and primarily facilitate communication between the district, which would be internal, and the community, which is our external. This typically happens in a weekly meeting where district issues are addressed, and there's also a public forum for external groups to voice their opinions or their feedback. Minutes from these meetings are published to make information public and promote transparency. The next group below them, we see our superintendent group, which is made up not only of our superintendent, but also other district leaders, such as assistant superintendents, directors of operations, divisions directors, and chief officers. This group primarily communicates within itself to process information from the Board of Education as well as external groups in order to make it digestible for building leaders to get out to their staff and to their families. Their primary sources of communication include addressing building leaders or principals at bi-monthly principals meetings via email and publishing information on the district website. Administration is the next group below them, where we see the two main groups within administration are principals and assistant principals. We also see other groups such as Dean of Students that helps out with some of these duties. But this group primarily facilitates communication between district leaders, Board of Education, and into the schools. They facilitate this primarily through email, coming from district leaders and going out to staff members and families. Typically, communication occurs with staff members during staff meetings and in services, and then more broader in assemblies where students and families are also informed. Individual school websites are also updated with information via school leaders such as principals and assistant principals. School staff is a large group within the internal public, or is an internal public, and that is made up of clerical staff such as bookkeepers and clerks, certified staff or licensed teachers, classified staff, paras, support staff, school psychologists, nurses, counselors and social workers, nutrition services and maintenance, and primarily they communicate with each other in collaborative efforts. Most communication from this group comes in the form of emails, as well as publications such as newsletters that can go out to families, parents, and other staff members, as well as the utilization of social media, which is becoming more and more a relevant tool for communication, and digital applications such as the Remind app or the Telegram app, where staff members are able to communicate with large groups on a different format that's more user-friendly on a smartphone. Students and families is kind of the bottom of the internal group as far as the top to bottom communication flow goes. Primarily, they are communicated with or with each other through email. ParentLink, which is an automated calling system set up by the district where district or building leaders can get information out quickly in the form of voicemails, emails, and text messages. Student View and Parent View are also communication links that are directly attached to our grading software where students and parents can communicate with staff members through messaging and emails. Our external publics are listed as well. And some of these groups I put in general groups and then broke down who exactly they were, who made up these groups, starting with parents, who we also saw in the internal group, but also serve an external purpose as well. Our district provides opportunities for volunteer work for parents, not only for schools, but also for building community partner relations. Parent-teacher organizations and site council, as well as family engagement events, and academic support, where parents are utilized as tools to help facilitate some of the needs of the district, and communication through surveys, feedback during the PTO, and site council participation also occurs. Typically, this group is informed via email or parent view, as well as information published on the district website. Community groups is also a broad range of different groups that affect our district or are affected by our district, starting with nonprofit organizations such as the Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, and United Way. These groups provide not only student support, but also child care, academic support, and in some cases financial support in the form of supplies or financial needs of students to be successful in school. Outside of supplies, religious groups that we see that have an effect on our district, or even that we have an effect on, are groups like Young Life, that are youth groups that help promote some of the same values that we promote in our district, as well as local church congregations that can better reach other external publics that may have a less direct connection with the district. Local businesses and organizations that we include in our external publics are the aerospace industry, which is large in Wichita. It's a large employer and in many ways is affected by the district or affects the district with different decisions that are made. The different post-secondary opportunities that we have, Wichita State, Friends University, and Newman, amongst others, also provide a lot of support for our district and are affected greatly by our district with the output of students and our graduation rate. Koch Industries is also a large employer in our district and a large influence on legislation in the area. We also have local banks such as Credit Union of America and Commerce Bank that are district partners and provide financial support and opportunities for district members and families, as well as other local businesses and organizations that provide scholarships and financial aid. We also have media outlets that support the district and have a lot of influence on public communication, such as local TV stations and newscasters, local radio stations, the Wichita Eagle, which is our local newspaper, as well as a few local magazines, for example, Vite Magazine and Vibe Magazine, that highlight student achievements and communicate impacts of the community. Our non-parent groups are highlighted mainly by taxpayers. That could be in the form of local business owners or community and neighborhood members. This could be a large group in Wichita that are directly affected by the school district in the form of taxes, and also obviously directly affect our school financially. Also in their influence on legislation and decision making via feedback during Board of Education meetings or even in voting. To highlight the vision and mission of our school district, we see that our district strongly holds that prompt and transparent communication is the most effective tool in garnishing not only family support, staff support within our district and our internal groups, but also external groups, looking to build a strong structure for student success through the use of community partners and communicating effectively with them to build continuity and to promote future endeavors that would help both groups grow.